Well, hello, everybody. It's Mackenzie and Autumn here, once again coming at you from my abode in Toronto.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
We've got a great view.
Yeah, and we have our look at our Christmas tree. Oh, it's beautiful. And Autumn brought pastries, which are divine.
Yes, from the Dej.
Yes.
Yes, I thought, Mac, that we would start this episode with a little recitation.
Love it. Begin, Autumn.
And hopefully you will all understand what musical we're doing from this.
You should, considering you heard the preview last week.
That's correct. And if you didn't get it, we are very sorry. You must be dog people. The naming of cats. The naming of cats is a difficult matter. It isn't just one of your holiday games. You may think at first I'm as mad as a hatter when I tell you a cat must have 3 different names. First of all, there's the name that the family use daily, such as Peter, Augustus, Alonzo, or James, such as Victor, or Jonathan, George, or Bill Bailey. All of them sensible, everyday names. Mm-hmm. Oh, there are fancier names if you think they sound sweeter. Some for the gentlemen, some for the dames, such as Plato, Admetus, Electra, Demeter, but all of them sensible, everyday names. But I tell you, a cat needs a name that's particular, a name that's peculiar and more dignified. Else how can he keep up his tail perpendicular, or spread out his whiskers, or cherish his pride? Of names of this kind, I can give you a quorum, such as Monkestrap, Quoxco, or a Corcopat, such as Bumblerina, or else Jellylorum, names that never belong to more than one cat. But above and beyond, there's still one name left over, and that is the name you will never ever guess, the name that no human research can discover. But the cat himself knows and will never confess. When you notice a cat in profound meditation, the reason, I tell you, is always the same. His mind is engaged in a rapt contemplation of the thought, of the thought, of the thought of his name, his ineffable, ineffable, deep and inscrutable, singular name.
Bravo, Autumn.
Well, thank you.
That was
Thank
beautiful.
you very much.
That was beautiful.
I think it's a perfect way to start this episode about
cats.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This is actually a bonus episode, as it was not on the original season 1 schedule.
No,
but
it wasn't.
Because of the upcoming film that will be coming out, I think, in less than a week when you'll be hearing this, we thought it was the perfect time for us to capitalize on everybody talking about cats, and we will do our deep dive into this world record-breaking musical. Based on a book of poems by T.S. Eliot.
One of my favorite poets of all time.
Will this be a book of poems that the children will receive at Christmas, Autumn, as a lead-in for them going to see the film version with us?
You know, funny story. I actually used to own a copy of the book of Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. And Old Possum was actually a name that Ezra Pound gave to T.S. Eliot. That was his nickname. So I had this book, and it was all illustrated by Edward Gorey.
Oh.
It was, and I can't find it anywhere.
Oh.
I need to find it. Because, yes, this would be, I don't know if I would give it to the children.
Or maybe just to yourself.
I would probably keep it for myself.
It would go in your study.
Quite. With all my other Edward Gorey, T.S. Eliot matter. Yeah, definitely. This would be one. For
Perfect.
Sure.
All right.
Do you want to know a little bit more about this before we go into everything else?
Yes.
So it's a musical about cats. I don't know what else.
Yeah, that's
and
the basic.
They're all like trying to vie for a spot in the heaviside layer, which is the place where you go after your 9 lives.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Heaven.
In
the poems, it's via
cats.
hot air balloon.
That's right.
But in this show, it's via
a
tire and a magic hand.
Some people use a hologram.
Yeah.
Choices. Everyone has a different choice. It's great. And it's based on the T.S. Eliot book, The Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, which he wrote for his godchildren.
There you go. So.
I know. So it tells the story of a tribe of cats called the Jellicles. And the night they make the Jellicle choice, deciding which cat will ascend to the heaviside layer.
And that is the basic plot of the whole show.
And it's a bunch of cats. It's humans dressed as cats.
Yeah.
End story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So people freaking out and watching the trailers for the new movie going, what is this? They basically just did that and took away the leotard and leg warmers and just put CGI fur on everybody, which we debated in our trailer review for this.
There are still some leotards
in the film version.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it looks like leotards.
No. They all wear. You can look at behind the scenes photos. They're all wearing like green suits with motion capture dots, and then they just put the CGI first, so they're all CGI.
Oh.
Their whole body, there's no leotards. It's all computers. Which, once again, now you get into the whole uncanny valley thing, so that's why it's still looking weird to our eyes, because our eyes can tell when it doesn't look right.
That's so weird.
Which is why I've always thought they should have gone the whole idea of like a DreamWorks Puss in Boots look, and just had great voice actors, like Judi Dench and Ian McKellen come in to do the voices, but then just animate it, make like an animated movie, versus...
Or just do cats.
Which they already did in the 90s.
I know, just do it again.
Do we need to do it again?
Bigger actors, if that's what floats your boat.
I don't know if we need this. I don't know if we need this film. Like, out of all the Lloyd Webber canon that you could do, I'd rather see him finally do a Sunset Boulevard film with Glenn Close versus Cats. Either way, so that's a great plot description. These cats all get together. They're Jellicles. Yeah. And they are just trying to decide who's going to go up to the heaviside layer. And we get to see a display basically of all these different cats vying for the position. And throughout the festivities, this one evil cat, McCavity, is wreaking havoc on them, trying to snag the coveted spot. And that's basically it.
Which he doesn't get, and we'll get into that
moment.
In a moment.
Okay. And that's basically it for plot. I mean, there's not much more to say. It's about cats. That's what they do. In that case, Autumn, why don't you give us a rundown of the creators? We've already talked about a few people.
We have.
Like Lloyd Webber and Trevor Nunn.
This is a Lloyd Webber extravaganza. One of his first, big hits.
After doing Evita and... Joseph and Superstar, that him and what's his name? Tim Rice kind of took a break from each other, which I don't blame them for it. Working with someone in a creative process, it can really drain on the relationships. I can see why they took a break, and Lloyd Webber went off and did his thing, and Tim Rice went off and did chess.
Yeah.
As we discussed in our chess episode, where we reveal that Tim Rice wanted Lloyd Webber to work on chess, but Lloyd Webber was busy with cats at the time.
Which Tim Rice did not want to touch.
He referred to him once in the rehearsal process for a project, and it didn't end well. So we will get into that.
Wow.
So, but really, this is the first Lloyd Webber stepping out on his own. So we've discussed Lloyd Webber in our Superstar episode.
It's a furry situation. I had to throw something in there.
I love that.
Thank you.
Lloyd Webber was in Superstar. We went into him. We did Trevor Nunn in chess as well. So who wanted to who do we have on the team, Autumn, that we haven't talked about yet?
There actually was a lyricist for
Was
Cats.
there?
Yeah, it was Richard Stilgoe.
Oh.
And Richard Stilgoe also worked with Lord Lloyd Webber on The Phantom of the Opera and Starlight Express.
We're not doing that musical anytime soon.
I quite love that musical.
I don't.
It's on roller skates. You have to be a child of the 80s maybe to fully appreciate it. Anyway, Stilgoe worked on those two little nuggets.
Yeah.
He was knighted in the Queen's Birthday Honours for his extensive charity work. He does a lot of charity work in the UK.
Okay.
He's also a keen puzzler.
Oh, what's that?
Who has hosted several quiz shows and authored several books on the subject.
Well, there you go. So he's kind of like the British Alice Trebek.
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Let's say yes. Still alive.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great.
So he's Sir Richard Henry Simpson Stilgoe.
And he helped with the lyrics for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like you have some original songs in here. Most of the songs, however,
come
from the original poems, which was smart.
Well, that's the only way Lloyd Webber could do it, because the widow, T.S. Eliot's widow, still had the rights to it, so she wouldn't give him the rights unless basically they said they wouldn't really change any of the poems.
So smart.
Which is great, because T.S. Eliot is a great writer. There's so many fun little lines in there.
They're genius.
It's very British.
I love Eliot because he transplants me back to London.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens within 2 lines of text. It's so simple, but he just gets it. He gets Cats, one, and he gets London, 2.
Perfect.
Which is amazing. So there are a couple of other people I think we should just mention very briefly.
Yeah.
We will go into this other person extensively in other episodes.
Yeah.
But the producer, who we don't talk about really.
No, this is Hal Prince. That's the only other producer we've talked about so far.
That's the only one. But this is Sir Cameron Anthony Mackintosh.
The wonderful, great Cameron Mackintosh.
The impresario of impresarios. Height of his success in 1990. Really, he's Les Mis. I mean, he always continues to be the height of his success.
He's a billionaire. He is one of the few theater billionaires of the world.
Yeah, in the Sunday Times Rich List of 2019, Mackintosh was estimated to have a fortune of £1.28 billion. Pretty extraordinary.
And apparently he's...
What does one do with that money? That's a whole
I'll tell you, because he actually talked about it. Because when he dies, the money isn't going to his children, apparently. Oh. It's going into a new creation fund with his company. So basically, it won't be used for another revival of Les Mis. It'll be for creating new works.
Well, that is really wonderful. God bless him for that. But he should also give money to his children.
I'm sure they're getting some money as well. But I'm glad he's also putting some money towards new creation, because he is.
Well, that's great.
I would say it. He is the modern day godfather of musical theater. His thumbprints are over so many shows. Yeah. That you wouldn't even think are.
You can't argue that.
Yeah.
You can't argue that.
Whether it's Phantom or Cats or Les Mis, Miss Saigon,
Oliver, Mary Poppins,
anything goes. He has the rights.
Hamilton.
He bought the rights for the British version of Hamilton. Yeah. He's even part of the producing team of the newest revival of Company.
So that's our good friend,
the impresario of theater.
Yes, the producer of all producers.
Yes.
Then we have Cats is because it's people being cats, you would assume that they'd have to move well. Mm-hmm. And choreography is a huge part of this production. Mm-hmm. That is correct. It was choreographed by Dame Gillian Barbara Lynn, who was an extraordinary dancer, choreographer, actress, and theater television director. Noted for Cats and Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
She was made a dame at the age of 87 in 2014.
Beautiful.
And in 2018, she was the first non-royal woman to have a West End theater.
Right. Lloyd Webber named a theater after her.
And sadly, we lost her in that same year, in 2018. But just an extraordinary woman and artist.
She was like the second coming of Agnes de Mille, basically.
Yes, 100%. And she redefined choreography yet again. Like you have your choreographers. You have Fosse. Agnes. You have Robin.
Yeah, then
you
Fosse.
have Fosse.
And then what's his name?
Gillian Lynn.
Well, Michael Bennett came.
And Michael Bennett.
Yeah, Michael Bennett came right in that 70s, and then Gillian Lynn came as of the 80s, and then she took it all the way through.
Yeah,
which is fantastic. Did you hear the story about her as a child?
No.
So when she was young, she was a very bouncy, like ADHD child, and so her parents took her to a psychologist, like somebody to be like, hey, like what the heck is going on with our child? So sure enough, he did all his tests and things like that, and then he said, then he told the parents to kind of step out of the room, and as he was leaving, he just tapped his record player, so it would just kind of play music in the background as a calming thing. So sure enough, they're saying, well, what's wrong with our daughter? And he said, oh, well, do we need to put her on some type of drug to kind of neutral her out? And the doctor said, no, she's fine. And they looked at him and he said, and he just pushed the door open, sort of, she was in the room dancing. And he said, look, that's her. Just put her in a dance class and she'll be fine. That's
how I solved my ADHD.
Right?
I danced
it's movement.
Lot.
It's great.
It's physical activity. It alters.
It burns calories like there's no tomorrow, and it's stimulating. It
changes your brain. It changes your brain functionality.
You're doing so many things with that brain, whether because you're having to do rhythm and remember the steps.
Yeah.
And listen to the music. Like there's your brain's
feel the music.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's it's a high level. Yeah. That your brain is working overload for that. So
100%.
But yeah, she's great. Gillian Lynn, like
100,
God bless her.
1000% on Gillian Lynn. Incredible woman. And the last person I want to talk about, because we haven't done this in our last couple of podcasts, is the set designer,
right?
John Napier,
who big name,
who is just prolific. He earned a position as associate designer at the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company. Designed for the National Theatre. He did Peter Shaffer's Equus. He did Candide. He's done things for the Royal Opera House, for Glyndebourne, for the English National Opera.
Yes.
And Jesus Christ Superstar. And then, of course, add to that, when he came over to the States, not only did he do numerous Broadway things, but he designed and co-directed shows for Siegfried and Roy.
There you go.
At the Mirage.
Yeah.
He did a video with Michael Jackson. And he designed Steven Spielberg's Hook.
That's a very underrated Spielberg movie. I think it's a really fun one.
It is good. I like that one.
But everybody always talks about how the 80s kind of brought these iconic set pieces to the stage, whether it's the chandelier or the swinging and barricade in Les Mis, the helicopter in Miss Saigon.
The tire and
cats. All these items came from the brain of John Napier. So when you talk about iconic pieces of set, which really up till then wasn't a big thing. The closest thing I could think of was maybe the balcony from Evita, the Casa Rosada. But other than that
was not really.
Yeah, that wasn't like a big set piece moment.
But we don't talk about we don't give enough credit to the designers, and I think he just really an extraordinary artist, and craftsman who I wanted to note.
Well, he deserves the noting.
There you go.
Love it.
That is me done.
Okay.
Very long, but I think worth it.
Yes.
100%.
All right. So are you ready for my long...
Can't wait. I'm
production history of the show.
Eat part of my lovely croissant while you chat.
All right. Here we go. So as we talked about, Cats is based on T.S. Eliot's 1939 poetry book, Old Possum's Books of Practical Cats, with songs in the musical consisting of Eliot's verses set to the music by Lloyd Webber. Eliot's book has been a childhood favorite of Lloyd Webber's. Lloyd Webber, yes, that's why he always wanted to do it. It was hey, this has been a childhood book. It'd be like somebody doing Harry Potter as a musical because, hey, I read the books growing up as a kid, and
that's great.
Here we go.
And that would be a bit longer.
Absolutely. Okay. They already tried that with the stage show, and so far it's coming to Toronto. So
can't wait.
So Lloyd Webber began composing the songs in late 1997 as a songwriting exercise, and partially to see if he could write music to a predetermined lyrics. Because Tim Rice and him had always collab, right? There was never like, hey, this is what we have to write to. So it was an experiment for him. The compositions were performed privately for friends, but Lloyd Webber had no further intentions for them at the time. He was like, okay, did it, exercise done.
Yeah.
After his song cycle of Tell Me on a Sunday, or Song and Dance, as it was also known, was televised on the BBC in early 1980s to the rave reviews, Lloyd Webber began to consider using his musicalization of Eliot's poems in the same vein for a televised concert anthology.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Great idea to start off with. He approached producer Cameron McIntosh to explore possible avenues for the songs. Practical Cats was the title of the show at the time. It was the working title. It was first presented as a song cycle in 1980 Summer Symington Festival, which is on Lloyd Webber's estate. Because he, on his estate, he has this old church that he converted into a theater where now new works are premiered there, work in progresses. So that's where things like Phantom, School of Rock, The Woman in White, all of Lloyd Webber's basically Sunset Boulevard, all these kind of brainchilds of Lloyd Webber, he always kind of previews them at the Symington Festival. That always features orchestral stuff, piano.
Friends, if you're listening to this before our festive Christmas season, I would like a little chapel to take you new works.
Right?
I'm just saying. I think that would
There's a lot of old churches around here, so I'm sure we could buy one and just do some stuff to it. So
anyone. I'll take anyone.
Maybe that'll be our next venture, Autumn.
Okay.
We'll buy a church and we'll convert it into a theater for emerging art.
Nice.
For Shelby Parade.
Okay.
All right. So it was presented at the Symington Festival, and as I said, it was the place of many premieres of Lloyd Webber's works. Eliot's widow and literacy kind of Exeter, Valerie, was in the audience and brought along various unpublished cat-themed poems by Eliot. So all the cut things from the book. That's going to come up later because that is important. Because one of these was Grisabella the Glamour Cat, was a cut poem that Lloyd Webber went, okay, light bulb. This could be a great piece of work for the show. Could it kind of be used as a middling as a main character? But he said, why was it cut from the book? And apparently it was deemed too sad for children, which is why that poem was cut originally from the book.
Right. Yes.
According to his widow.
Kind of sad.
It is. So Lloyd Webber has stated in previous interviews about the creation process. He goes, the musical and dramatic images that this created for me made me feel that there was very much more to the project than I had realized. I immediately decided that I needed the support of another to encourage me to rework my settings and to see if a dramatic whole could be woven from this delightful verse that I was now being allowed to develop. Due to the success of the presentation at the festival, Lloyd Webber thus decided to turn Practical Cats into a musical, co-produced by Mackintosh and Lloyd Webber's company, The Really Useful Group, with Brian Brawley.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes. So Lloyd Webber began setting the unpublished poems. He had been given to music, a few that were later added into the show. He also composed the overture and the Jellicle Ball opening song, incorporating analog synthesizers into the orchestrations to try to create a unique electronic soundscape. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Mackintosh recruited Trevor Nunn, the then artistic director of the Royal Shakespeare Company, to direct Practical Cats. Nunn was an unusual choice at the time, as he was considered too highbrow for this work of musical theater. But Mackintosh felt that a pedigree director was needed to ensure Valerie Eliot's approval of the project. So basically, Trevor Nunn was there to woo the widow. Haha. After much persuasion, Nunn came on board and was joined by his fellow RSC colleagues, including choreographer Gillian Lynn and sound costume designer John Napier. So basically, wherever Trevor Nunn went, he brought them to.
The RSC on parade.
Bingo! Nunn initially envisioned Practical Cats as a chamber piece for 5 actors and 2 pianos, which he felt would reflect Eliot's charming, slightly offbeat, mildly satiric view of the late 1930s London. So that's a very different way of going about the show. Nunn was also convinced that for the musical to have wide commercial appeal, the producers desired, it could not remain as a series of isolated numbers, but instead have a narrative through line. He was therefore tasked with piecing the self-contained poems together into a story. So Nunn was really the guy who had to kind of sculpt this mishmash of stuff into something whole.
Which he did.
He did. He absolutely did.
Help of Silgo.
Yes. So basically, Nunn came up with an event called the Jellicle Ball, was referred to by Eliot in the poem "The Song of the Jellicles," while a cat version of heaven known as the Heaviside Lair was mentioned in another unpublished poems. So Nunn expanded these concepts into conceiving of the Jellicle Ball as an annual ritual in which the cats vied to be chosen to ascend to the Heaviside Lair, thus giving the characters a reason to gather and sing about themselves in the musical. He also added in the element of rebirth as a play on the idea of cats having 9 lives. So that is how it all came to be.
Right.
The one stipulation of Nunn's before agreeing to direct this musical was that actress Judi Dench, yes, of James Bond M fame, as many other things.
Judi Dench.
Yeah, Judi Dench. If you don't know who she is, just Google her. You'll know her the minute you see her. That he wanted her to be cast in the musical. Lloyd Webber was very happy to oblige, given her credentials, and so Judi Dench joined the company in the dual roles of Grizabella and Jenny Anydots, as Nunn loves doing double casting. We see that in Les Mis, with people coming back to the barricade after they die.
So funny.
Right? Fantine dies in Act 1, and she comes back on the barricade in Act 2.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that when we get into that show. Patti LuPone talks all about how that came to be. Either way.
Imagine Patti LuPone being on the barricade, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's a whole thing there. We'll get into that story. But basically,
hilarious.
Nunn loves the idea of using a medium-sized cast, but then having them continually repurpose things. So that's why, usually the character of Bustopher Jones on stage is also Old Deuteronomy. They just swap the makeup. Yeah.
Let's just stop on Judi Dench for a second, because if people don't know her, I kind of want them to know her.
All right, give the rundown.
Dame Judi Dench, Dame Judith Olivia Dench, we should call her, is an English actress. Hello. She made her debut at the Old Vic. She is a remarkable, classically trained actress. Probably her most famous role was as Lady Macbeth.
With Ian McKellen.
With Ian McKellen. Just mind-boggling. She starred as Sally Bowles in Cabaret in 1968. And she worked extensively with the RSC until she went into TV, and her... famously, she was known for A Fine Romance and As Time Goes By, which had just the most extensive run from 92 to 2005. And then, of course, she's been in the Bond films. She was in Shakespeare in Love. Saw her live on stage.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lucky.
When I lived in England, I got to see her in a David Hare play.
Oh.
I will tell you.
She just came to the Cineplex for The Winter's Tale with Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It would have been in 97. Anyway, that year I also saw Kate Blanchett and Maggie Smith on stage live. It was a good theater going year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a David Hare play, and at the National Theater.
Okay.
And it was great.
Okay.
Amy's View.
Got it. Okay.
It's called.
Wonderful. Great. Okay.
Really great. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so Judi Dench, fantastic lady. She will be in the new Cats movie as Old Deuteronomy.
Which is great.
It's a great kind of revisit of her role, because we'll find out why she lost out on this show. So she was cast as Grizabella and Jenny Anydots, And despite still having no established book or score, rehearsals began on March 9th, 1981 in a church hall in Chiswick, London. The rehearsal process was not smooth sailing. The original music director, Chris Walker, became so frustrated with the unfinished score that he quit by lunchtime on the first day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Much of the early rehearsals were used for an extensive improvisation that generated many of the ensemble characters.
Oh, cool.
So basically, Gillian just had them crawling around on the floor, becoming cats.
I can't imagine a more irritating process.
Right? Just days and days of that.
It's like the unending animal exercise.
I remember that in my first year.
Yes.
Having to spend a week as an orangutan.
Oh my, that I can totally see you doing.
Right?
That's brilliant.
That was me.
I would choose an otter.
I could see that.
I love otters.
I can see you being an otter. Just, yeah. I love it.
Totally. There we go. There are our animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So Memory, an 11 o'clock number for Grisabella, that became the hit of the show, was created because Nunn insisted the show needed an emotional center, but still had no lyrics at this point. So this is where Tim Rice comes in, because Lloyd Webber turned to him to write the lyrics for the song, but Nunn directed his version of the song as it was too depressing. And Lloyd Webber had to go in to tell Rice that his version was not moving forward.
Ooh.
So
I guess they didn't work together for a long time after that.
No, it wasn't until they did Evita with Madonna where they had to write "You Must Love Me," which is a great song. I love that.
I guess so.
I love that song. It was a great addition to the show. We'll get into that in our Evita episode.
In our Evita episode,
right. So Rice's version, too depressing. The lyrics from Memory weren't actually were not completed by were written by Nunn, but were completed until well into the previews. The biggest bump in the road came when Judi Dench snapped her Achilles tendon during rehearsals for the old Gumby Cat, and was because it's a tap dance number, and I don't know how she did it, but she did it. Just snapped her Achilles tendon. And thus had to pull out 1 week before the preview. So her understudy, Mira Sands, replaced her as Jenny Anydots, while Lloyd Webber's former colleague and first Evita, Elaine Page, agreed to take on the role of Grisabella.
Thank you, Lord, for that.
As much as I'm sure it sucked to be Judi Dench in that moment, it brought us one of the great songs of musical theater that everybody now knows.
And also, once again, solidified why Elaine Page is singularly
divine,
one of the best belters of
all
time. Man, she can do, that woman can do anything. Almost, but anything. I'm going to say anything. So good. So good.
Right. So due to the injury of Judi Dench, the opening night was pushed back to May 11th, but Mackintosh refused to postpone the previews as he wanted to dispel the industry's rumors that the production was an impending debacle. So he was like, rumor mill's churning, we got to just plow forward, but we'll move the opening later, is what basically was agreed upon.
Love it.
There have been many in the press and in public who felt Cats would be a flop, which I don't blame them.
It's a musical about cats.
Yes, well, it sounds weird, and people are like, "What the hell is this show?"
Yeah.
Lloyd Webber personally underwrote the musical and took out a second mortgage on his house as a down payment for the theater.
Smart.
He later recalled that if Cats had been a commercial failure, it would have left him in financial ruin.
Well, thank goodness.
So, as I mentioned, the lyrics to Memory were not completed until well into the previews, and the reason why was because they couldn't decide on which version of the song they liked. So they kept changing it every night on Elaine Page, till finally, one night during the preview, Elaine Page got so frustrated by the ever-changing lyrics in Memory that one night she just couldn't remember which version she was supposed to be doing, so she ended up vamping on stage, trying to get back on track. And she came off stage that night and told Nunn and Lloyd Webber, she said, just choose a frickin' version because I'm done with this. back and forth because they tried the Rice version, they had tried one of the Nun versions, and I forget the other lyrics. Still Goes version. Like, it just went on and on and on until basically they just went, okay, we just got to choose one because Paige is getting pissed off at us and we can't lose another Grisabella. We don't want that.
We do not want Paige pissed off at us.
No. Considering she's saving your show.
No.
Okay, so after all those hurdles, Cats premiered in the West End at the New London Theatre, now the Gillian Lynne Theatre, on May the 11th, 1981. The cast included Elaine Page as Grisabella, Paul Nicholas as Rum Tum Tugger, Susan Jan Tanner, who will go on to be the original Madame Thénardier in Les Mis, as Jelly Loram, Wayne Sleep as Mr. Mistopheles, Sarah Brightman, the future Mrs. Lloyd Webber briefly, and OG Christine in Phantom, played double duty as Jemima and Syllabub, and Brian Blessed, who my Disney fans will know, voiced the villainous Clayton in Disney's Tarzan, played Bustopher Jones in Old Deuteronomy. The original London production ran for a total of how many performances you think, Autumn? Give a ballpark of how many performances you think it gave. In the West End.
In the West End? Oh, I don't know. 500.
Oh, it was 8,994 performances before closing on its 21st anniversary on May the 11th, 2002. Cats held the record for London's longest-running musical from 1989 when it surpassed Jesus Christ Superstar until the 8th of October 2006 when it was surpassed by in my opinion, a much superior musical, Les Miserables. The production was nominated for Best Musical. I know. I can see Autumn cringing right now.
I don't know. It's hard to...
They're both mega musicals of the 80s.
P.S. Stephen Tate, our original Jesus, was
Judas.
also...
He was Judas.
The original Judas was also in the original West End cast.
He was? Well, who was he?
He played Growl Tiger and Gus, the theater cat.
I can see him as a Gus. I hate Growl Tiger, though. We'll get into that. But the show was... a success at the award shows.
Yeah.
It was nominated for Best Musical, Best Actor for Brian Blessed and Wayne Sleep, Best Production Design, and Best Direction, but not Best Actress for Elaine Page.
Well, it's not a prolific role.
But it's the big song of the show. It's like, if you're going to... That's like Judi Dench winning for playing Elizabeth I in Shakespeare in Love, when she's only on screen for like 8 minutes of that entire film.
I know. I can't talk about that film.
All right.
That film really irritates me. That it was like it beat out Elizabeth. It still bugs me. Okay.
Either way, it did win the Olivier, or as also known as the Laurence Olivier Award, which is the British version of the Tonys.
Correct.
For Best New Musical, and Gillian Lynne won the Special Award for Outstanding Achievement in a Musical, and they won a few set for John Napier too.
Mm-hmm.
So the production then transferred to Broadway with a record-breaking $6.2 million in pre-ticket sales.
Oh my God.
At the time, it was the most expensive Broadway show ever mounted, with a production cost of $5.5 million. Oh. It did pay off its investments within less than 10 months. So clearly a good investment. Cats opened on October the 7th, 1982 at the Winter Garden Theater, which would eventually become home to Mamma Mia.
Yes.
As well as other, I forget big shows there now, but it's like the big theater in New York.
It's the one that makes money.
Yes, it's the hot place to be.
Yeah.
A June closing was scheduled in early 2000, but it was subsequently pushed back after the resulting surge of ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they said it's closing. Oh wait, no, never mind. It just created a whole bunch of lot of tickets.
People still want to see this show.
Yep. So instead of closing in the early 2000s, it closed on September 10th, 2000, after a total of 13 previews and 7,485 performances.
Yeah.
This Broadway record was surpassed on the 9th of January 2006 by the Phantom of the Opera.
Mm.
And Cats remains one of the longest running shows in Broadway history. Goes got the hiccups. Overall, the musical's original production grossed approximately $388 million in ticket sales.
That's nuts.
The original production was nominated for Best Musical, Best Book of a Musical, Best Original Score, Best Actress in a Musical for Betty Buckley, who played Grisabella, and Best Director.
Man was Rum-Tum Tugger.
He was before becoming Javert. And the Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
And yes, I love Terrence Mann.
He's wonderful.
So good.
He's so good. But yeah, he was also nominated for Best Director for None, Best Choreography for Gillian Lynn, and a number of other production awards. It won most of its awards, including Best Musical, Best Director, Best Score, Best Actress, but didn't win Best Scenic Design or Choreography. So Gillian Lynn lost out.
Interesting.
There have been 2 film versions of this musical. There was one filmed version of the stage show done in the 1990s with the wonderful Elaine Page reprising her role as Grisabella, and Ken Page, the voice of the villainous Oogie Boogie Man from The Nightmare Before Christmas, playing Old Deuteronomy.
Oh, really?
Interesting. Yes. Now, there is a new film version coming out this Christmas. We're weeks away. Directed by the Oscar-winning director Tom Hooper, who also directed the musical Les Mis. And it will be starring Taylor Swift, Judi Dench, James Corden, Ian McKellen, Idris Elba, and Jennifer Hudson. So stay tuned. And Jason Derulo.
And Francesca. Introducing
Francesca Hayward. So stay tuned for that. Autumn and I will be going to see it together, so we can then record a review of this movie. I don't know how much Autumn's going to love me after subjecting her to watching this on screen.
No, I really do want to see it. I
got a feeling it's either going to be really good and everybody's going to be like blown away by what they've come up with, or it's going to be like the biggest bomb of the season and everybody's going to be like, what the hell is this?
I don't think it's going to be the biggest bomb. I think it's going to tickle their traditional musical theater's funny bone while irritating the hell out of them. Like, I there's something, and we're going to get into this. We are so going to get into this when we talk about Merrily We Roll Along. But I have a feeling there's something so general about it, so it will lose the depth of character that is present in the live versions, and in the poems. Like, everything looks just slightly false about it. And it's not even the CGI. I
was about to say, it's all done in a computer, but the sets are real. But that's the cool thing, is they actually built real big, oversized sets to make the people look cat-sized.
Which is awesome. I just, you have Ian McKellen
playing Gus the theater cat.
Ray Winston
playing Growl Tiger, which I don't know why they include this number in the movie.
Judi Dench
playing Old Deuteronomy, and
then you have everybody else.
I can see James Corden as a Buster for Jones. Like
he's fake. Like there's nothing complex about him.
Yeah, but neither is Buster for Jones.
But there should be. Like, everything about T.S. Eliot has a layer of complexity that is...
Buster for Jones is it's like the old military cat. He kind of saunters around all the gentleman clubs. Like, that's what he's representing.
I know, but
he's that old world.
You've been watching The Crown, Mackenzie Horner. You know that there are depths to these characters.
Oh, absolutely there is. There absolutely is.
James Corden can't bring that. Neither can Rebel Wilson.
I love in those trailers, don't mess with the crazy cat lady. It's oh boy.
She's funny, but I don't know. There's got to be more complexity to it. And we'll talk about Jennifer Hudson when we get to Memory, but...
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. I don't know.
So now we're on to the first part where Autumn... How did you come to this show? Where?
Oh my Lord!
Like, where did your journey start with this piece?
I was like the tender age of 9.
Okay.
When I first heard of this musical, and it's funny. I was at Oshawa Little Theatre where I was having my heyday at the time.
Yes.
We did Jellicle Cats when I was 10.
So did Maddie in her dance class.
There you go. That was much later on, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, absolutely. Different generation.
Way different generation. So that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I came to know it. I didn't really see it, though.
Did you not see the OG Toronto production they did? Like way back?
No.
Oh,
I
I'm
did not.
surprised.
The first production I saw of this was when I was 14. So in 19... Oh my God. 1980...
Whatever. 1980 something.
7. I traveled to New York.
Was this when you saw Phantom and Into the Woods? Was this your big...
Yes, this was my big... And Starlight Express.
God, that show.
It was a whole musical extravaganza.
No kidding. You saw like all the big shows of the day.
Did. And...
But not Les Mis. When you were there.
No. I saw Les Mis. I don't know. When did Les Mis come out?
On Broadway, it was 87, West End 85. So if you were there in 87, you would have seen Terrence Mann play Javert.
Did it come out the same year as Woods?
No. The year of Woods and Phantom were the same. Les Mis came after that.
That's why I didn't see it, because I went out like the first year those two were out.
Got you. So right. So Les Mis was the following year.
Yeah. So I saw the original Les Mis in Toronto.
With Michael Burgess? On his face,
God bless his soul.
Yeah.
God bless his soul. Rest in peace.
Either way, so you saw it in New York with Betty Buckley? It must have been Betty Buckley.
No, it wasn't Betty Buckley. No. When did it come out?
On Broadway? Broadway, it was...
Broadway was 82. No, she had
departed the role.
Retired by that point.
She retired her cat coat.
She had retired her Grisabella coat. And I was like,
It's Cats.
I prefer Phantom. That was I'm like, it's a bunch of singing cats. But what did I know at that point? I was in my teens. I just didn't get it. And now that I, in my later years, have started to read T.S. Eliot's poetry on a more prolific scale, I've come to appreciate it. Like, I just didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. And
it's like a fine wine, it ages well.
Yeah. I would like to think that my mind has aged well.
Yes, I think so.
Or I just know different things.
And I know things now, many valuable things.
Yes, that I hadn't known before. Don't put your faith in a cape and a hood.
It will not protect you the way that it should.
Absolutely not. So yeah, that's the first time I saw it. And then I saw two versions in Toronto, one at Massey Hall. Right. When I was in grade 12, which was okay. And then I saw a version, actually, that a couple of my colleagues worked on. Okay. Dave Campbell and Tim Webb. Right. Tim actually designed it. And it was done at what was once the Panasonic.
Oh, is this the most recent one that they just did?
Yeah.
Okay, my dad. Okay, we'll get into that because that's the one my dad and I saw
about 5 years ago.
Yep.
With a hologram and my
yes.
Do you know so?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember this one now.
Yeah, and my friend Brad Treneman did the lighting design, which was great. The lighting was absolutely astounding on that show. Way to go, Brad. Peace out. So yeah, but I'm a huge Eliot fan now, so I have a better
understanding.
Yeah, I have a deeper love of this musical than I ever have before.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You?
Well, I came to the show when I was about 5 or 6. Yeah. Was when I first came to it.
Matt's younger than myself, everybody. I'm just letting you know now.
So, not that much younger. So the first time I saw this was because on Boxing Days, we would go to be with my great Aunt Marion and my great Uncle Don. And their favorite show was Cats. So they had at their place the 1998 VHS, like 2 VHS copy of Cats. And they knew I loved theater, so they wanted to show it to me. And it was going great until McCavity showed up. And then I left the room and didn't come back. So I didn't get to see Memory or the finale of the show. I just booted it out of there, and I was gone. A few Christmases.
That's a scary cat.
Well, if you look at the pictures of his original like makeup in the show, like it is like he was a creepy looking cat.
Yeah, he's not a nice cat.
No. So a few Christmases later, they actually gave me a copy of the musical, much to my parents' chagrin, as this is not certainly one of their most favorite musicals. It was my dad's first musical he ever saw, ever, in Toronto.
And they were like, Mag is going to watch this every single day. We know it.
Well, they curved me by giving me the Lloyd Webber Greatest Hits cassette, where it had Memory, and I forget the other song that is on that cassette from Cats. But
is it Jellicle, maybe?
Could be Jellicle. Either way, they figured out a way to give me the two best songs of the show, and
I love it.
And avoid the rest of watching the film version. But either way, watch that, and then I eventually saw it in Toronto once again with my dad because I moved back to York, and sure enough, the choice was either drive to Stratford and go see Fiddler on the Roof. With Scott Wentworth as Tevye.
Oh, not Brent.
No, this was much later. Or my dad was like, we could go do a Rush Seat show here in Toronto because he'd never done a Rush Seat theater experience before.
Oh,
so I dragged him for 3 hours in line to get tickets to see Cats.
To see Cats. He must have loved you.
Oh, he did because he's already seen it. So he was like, okay, well, I guess we'll see it again. So. Yeah, so he and I saw the Cats. We were in the back of the top balcony because that's all they had left. That show sold out.
Well, it's Cats,
and it's still selling it. It's currently here in Toronto again on tour, and our friend Lindsay just saw it.
That's right.
And she gave it a very nice nostalgic review, saying if you're in Cats or have nostalgia, it will tickle that bone.
That's right.
For you.
That's right.
Thanks, Lindsay, for that wonderful feedback, because it now kind of decided where I was going to go see a show. I'm going to see Anastasia.
Well, that's a good choice.
I think so. Because, I mean, I've seen Cats on stage, and we're going to go see the film version, so.
I'm not going to see anything, because theater is too expensive.
Well, that's why.
Actually, that's not true. I'm going to see a play next weekend.
There you go. And you're also coming next Thursday to see Les Mis with me at the cinemas, because
that's right.
For $20, you get to see a live theater show from London.
All right. Yes.
And it's got a great cast, so I will send you the times. And it's right downtown Toronto, so you got no excuse, Autumn. You got to come.
From Muskoka.
From Muskoka. Just for me.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Either way. So that was kind of our history. This episode is going to be a long one. We're already almost an hour in.
But that's okay.
So
this one should be long.
Yeah.
It's
like Cats. It just goes and goes and goes.
It is the longest running musical of all time.
Well, not anymore. It's been surpassed by other shows. But it was the...
No.
Yes.
What other shows?
Well, on Broadway, it's Phantom. And in the West End, it's Les Mis.
Oh,
so Cats is being usurped
whatever.
by two great shows.
Fine.
But it's still one of the longest running shows in history. So it still has that. And it's still making a bunch of money. So...
And they're doing a movie about it.
Yeah. So clearly it's not doing too badly for itself.
No, and I hope it's better than the Les Mis movie. But
that Les Mis movie wasn't awful.
Tom Hooper.
You and I are going to have to do a Patreon conversation about that 2012 movie, because I do think there are some good qualities to that movie.
There's just one good quality about that movie.
I think there's more than that. But either way, we'll get into that.
Not Anne Hathaway. Is that her name?
Yeah, Anne Hathaway. It's Fontaine. Where she shaves her head live on screen for you.
She is the only redeeming factor.
I don't know. I loved Hugh Jackman as Valjean. And I love the set design and the barricade. Oh, it was fun. Either way, we'll get into that. We'll get into that on a Patreon conversation. You and I will have to talk about this at some point. We keep dancing around it. All right, so our top 3 songs.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
You start this time.
All right. Well, my first song is the prologue / the Jellicle songs for Jellicle Cats.
Me too.
Jellicle songs for Jellicle Cats. 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 We can dart through the air like a flying trapeze. We can turn double somersaults, bounce on a tire. We can run up a wall. We can swing through the trees. We can balance on bars. We can walk on a wire.
That song is such a great opening to the musical. It's got amazing choreography by Gillian Lynn. It captures essentially cats, their physicality, and it brings the audience right into the show. It's like you're calling through the audience, they're up on the stage. It's just like, if you didn't know what the show was about before you got there, that song just brings you right into it. And
you don't know by the end of it. You're in the wrong place.
It also leaves you the whole show asking, what the heck is a Jellicle cat, which is never answered.
Right. No.
But it's the whole idea of it just introduces you to this concept of the show. And the lyrics, while repetitive and simple, are so freaking catchy that throughout the whole show, you'll be leaving going, Jellicles can and Jellicles do, Jellicle do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, Jellicle cats. Like, it just goes, and it's just great. It's just such a fun, over-the-top opening number. It's like, it's like it just did all the work for you in this one song. It just set everything up that you need to know, except for the fact we don't know why they're all together, but that's the next song.
Right.
But it just brings you into the story. It just says, hey, this is what we're doing. Enjoy. Sit back. It's going to be weird. It's going to be fun.
Yes, I agree. I'm with you. And I would even say that it's the whole thing up into the invitation.
Yes,
so
that's the whole new track.
The overture, the prologue, the naming of cats, which I've already recited for you, and the invitation to the Jellicle Ball. It's just great.
That whole first 30 minutes of the show is fantastic. But my personal favorite part is the actual Jellicle songs for Jellicle cats.
Were you blind when you're born?
Can you see in the dark? Do you look at a king? Will you sit on his throne? Can you say your bite? That is worse than your bark.
So good.
Are you cock the walk?
I have to let you know that when I was in New York, I would do this frequently.
Okay.
With my friend Thomas Buckley, Alex Perez, and
which cat were
Jordan Murphy. And Mariel. Mariel was also in there. It didn't matter, but I did picture myself as Skimbleshanks.
I could see a Skimbleshanks
because he's my favorite.
The railway cat.
Yes, the cat of the railway train. He's my favorite cat. I love him. I totally agree with you. That is also my first pick.
Okay.
See, this part's going to go fast.
Exactly. The second pick is what, Autumn? What is your second?
No,
pick?
you go first.
Well, mine is Memory.
Like a flower as the dawn is breaking, the memory is fading. It's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has
Yes. I mean, how can you not love it?
I mean, it's the song of the show. It's the epitome of what an 11 o'clock number is. It forces the ensemble to address Grisabella and makes the end of the musical happen. It is the
11 o'clock number.
Yeah, it's the moment, and the lyrics are so powerful. And that big climactic, we'll insert the clip here, but it's the touch me moment of the show. It's so easy to leave me all alone with my memories. And all I can think of with that lyric is every senior who's in a nursing home or is alone, you can hear them all screaming this line. We still have value. We're still part of this world, even if
we're still here.
Yes, another great Sondheim song.
Yes, we're still here.
Yeah, but it's that whole moment of the world's passing them by, and they're just wanting the attention they rightfully earned in the world. It's like, don't just not lock me in a nursing home. Come talk to me. Come be with me. Let's share these memories.
Yeah.
Hold my hand.
Yeah, you know what's also great about memory is it's very much in alignment with an Eliot poem.
Yes.
Like
well,
it kind of reminds me a little bit like it reminds me a little bit of Prufrock, like J. Alfred Prufrock,
right?
And how it's someone just getting closer to their demise and watching themselves change bit by bit. And he has a great line in that poem where he says, "I've measured out my life in coffee spoons." And that's kind of what Grisabella feels like.
Yeah.
Like there's a monotony to it.
Well,
to her existence.
Yeah.
Like after being glamorous for so long, and then that downfall.
Oh, it's a huge downfall.
Like it's so hard to be extraordinary and then not be anymore.
Oh, absolutely. It's someone. Yes.
Somewhat ordinary in a way. There's not the same pressure on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like
there's.
Oh, I mean,
there's no idolization.
No, right? I mean, well, if you listen to this lyric that in the alternate version she sings when it's a solo versus a duet. But it's burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning. The street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. It's that, once again, it's that perpetual I'm waiting to die here.
It's a very waiting for Godot.
Yes, it's waiting for Godot. It's just that tragic moment of somebody just going...
Waiting to die.
Yeah.
Which is all waiting
I'm at the end of my rope.
Well.
She just goes, I'm done. Like, I can't fight this anymore. Even though Gus could rightfully deserve to be the heaviside lair cat if she didn't show up.
Yes.
But I think he still has a little bit more to give to the cats. He still gave a little bit more to them.
He's next to the heaviside.
Exactly. He's going next year. Cats too.
She's not
Gus gets
a
his
glamour
chance.
cat anymore. Right?
No, well, it's the thing.
That's how she was identified.
Yes. She also was kind of identified as someone. It's almost like she almost slept around and left the tribe. That's kind of in her song that they sing about her, where she kind of wandered from men to men.
Yeah.
She sauntered around,
kind of like Evita Peron.
Once again, played by Elaine Page.
Oh, Elaine.
Yes.
This is your calling card.
Yes.
But let's talk about this for a moment. So
Florence as well in chess, going from Anatoly or from Freddie to Anatoly.
I don't think she ever slept with Freddie.
Really?
I think Freddie is gay.
Oh.
But that's another conversation.
Okay.
So memory for me, like we were talking a little bit earlier before we started recording about Judi Dench playing Grisabella. And I actually think that would have been a great choice. Or bringing back Elaine Page.
Somebody older.
It needs to be someone older. People. You cannot do Waiting for Godot. You cannot do these people who have gone through their whole life.
Right, with 37
and
year olds.
now they're at you can't. I'm so tired of seeing Godots with young men play. I'm like, stop. You just need to stop. It's so wrong. You are totally misreading the text. And this memory is the same. Jennifer Hudson, this is not your role. You are a beautiful performer. Not your role. This is not your role.
Well, how old was Elaine Page when she did it? That's what I'm looking up now.
I know. And she was young too. But
34. She was 34 when she did this.
Elaine Page also has a much
more mature.
She just has this angst to her belt. That hurts. It hurts when you hear it.
Well, that touched me every time.
And because it's a movie version, it's a movie version of this, so they don't need to dance.
True.
Like, she doesn't need to play two parts like Judi Dench did back in the day.
She can play one.
Even Elaine Page. Right? You could cast this older, which would be way more
Maggie Smith in this role would have been great.
No, Maggie Smith is too zesty. She's too zesty.
Too zesty.
She's too zesty.
Who could we get then? Like, who would be your idea? Imelda Staunton? She can sing.
She's too zesty too. I don't know. It needs to be someone slightly more contemplative. Olivia Colman would be great.
That'd be good.
I'm kind of on a Olivia
Colman train. Have you watched her in Les Mis yet on the
Shane
BBC?
Lapierre.
That'd be good.
who was my teacher at Oxford.
Really?
I almost died when she came on stage in The Crown. I was like, that's Jane Lavater.
Who'd you play in The Crown?
She plays the Philip's mother.
Oh, Princess Alice.
Princess Alice.
Oh, actually, I could
Greece.
definitely see that.
Yeah, she
Or
was,
or you know who else you get is Eileen Atkins.
Eileen Atkins would also be great.
Mm-hmm. Somebody just older in the part. Somebody
Yeah.
who like looks like they've lived a life.
They need to live, but glamorous.
A glamorous life now, not so glamorous.
Like
Betty Buckley nowadays could do it.
Yeah, probably.
She's old enough to do it now.
Yeah.
Either way, point being, memory great song, just Jennifer Hudson, you may be too young for the part.
Way too young. Way too young.
But either
I'm
way.
very dogmatic about this one. It's messy.
Dogmatic.
Yes, I'm going to be dogmatic about it.
All right.
Okay.
So what's your second choice then? Because it sounded like you had another one besides memory.
No,
Sounded you were apprehensive.
I love this whole musical.
Oh
There's
boy.
not. I mean, there are a few that I'll mention that are not my favorite. Like I do skip some, but
Me too.
I don't know. I do like memory. I'm gonna go with memory.
All
too.
right. All right.
Yeah, it's how can you not?
Mm-hmm.
How can you not?
Mm-hmm.
What's your last one?
Well, just like you with West Side Story in Oklahoma, where you kind of went outside the box with the dance piece.
Yes.
My final choice is the Jellicle Ball, the ending of Act 1, the big dance break moment of the show where they kind
I
of
love it.
this moment in the show, while the lyrics are just repeats of earlier parts of the show, but the reason why it makes this song sweet is because it's the orchestra and the dance. Like when you hear the strings, like I remember when we saw A Night of Lloyd Webber at the time it was the Hummingbird Center, but it was the full 60-piece orchestra, and when you see all those violins going on stage,
it's pretty amazing.
It's amazing. And just when you and the minute you hear that ba da 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 do 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 ba da na 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 like it's just so good. It's rock. Like
Mac is really into this, guys.
Like it's just that orchestral, and it's just like you just feel it like right into hoo-ha, as they say.
It does.
You feel it right in the gut, and it's like in the dance. This is where Gillian Lynn truly breaks out, because throughout the whole rehearsal process, they're like, Gillian, too much dance. They can't sing because they're moving too damn much. So that's why a lot of times it's a select few of Cats who are dancing, the rest are all sitting sprinkled around the stage. But this is where everybody gets in. Heck, even old Deuteronomy's in there in the middle there for a bit, doing some hand moves over them, and even Grisabella shows up there for a quick step before she gets chased off. But it's just that, and you can see why by the end of this it's 9 minutes, this piece from beginning to end, and it's just pure energy. So it's no wonder why at the end of that song, Gillian just had them all just drop, and it's off stage, out at the end of that, because it's after 9 minutes of just going full tilt with lifts and jumps and
so good,
everything.
So good.
It's so good.
It's the Cats.
Yes,
it's Cats, people.
It's so good. It's so good.
I have to choose one now, don't I?
I'm surprised you haven't brought up your favorite cat yet.
Well, I am. My last one is Skimbleshank.
The railway cat.
He's a cat. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart.
Skimbleshanks, the railway cat, the cat of the railway train. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart. Saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? Has he gone to hunt the thimble? We must find him or the train can't start.
All the guards and all the porters and the station master's daughters would be searching high and low, saying, Skimble, where is Skimble? For unless he's very nimble, then the night mail just can't go.
I love Skimbleshanks. There's just such an organized.
Well, he's very
urgency to it.
And the orchestra sounds like the.
There's an organized urgency to it.
Yes,
and I love that. It's very orderly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's very saucy.
He's a very saucy. Well, the whole idea of let's just say. Oh, hold on. Let me pull up the lyrics. They're great.
I do have it was hard because I also very much enjoy
Mr. Mistopheles.
Bustopher Jones.
Bustopher Jones is not skin and bones. In fact, he's remarkably fat.
He doesn't haunt pubs. He has 8 or 9 clubs. For he's the St. James's Street cat. He's the cat we all greet as he walks down the street in his coat of fastidious black. No commonplace mouses have such well-cut trousers or such an impeccable back.
I love it. He doesn't haunt pubs. He has 8 or 9 clubs. So he's the St. James's Street cat. And I think the reason why I love Bustopher Jones so much is because it's like walking through, that area of London that's very close to Piccadilly and going by all the gentlemen's clubs. And you can just see this cat lollygagging into the club, It's very funny. Indeed. Got a cigar in his mouth. You can just see it.
It's like Winston Churchill in cat form.
Winston Churchill in cat form.
Right.
That's exactly what he is. It's genius. And I also really love Jenny Anydots.
the tap dancing cockroaches.
But when the day's hustle and bustle is done, then the Gumby cat's work is but hardly begun. She thinks that the cockroaches
Need employment
to prevent them from
idle and want to destroy me.
So she's born from that lot of disorderly louts, a troop of well-disciplined, helpful Boy Scouts.
With a purpose in life and a good deed to do.
And she's even created a Beatles tattoo.
Who we play by Rebel Wilson in the film version, where she gets her hand caught in a mouse trap. Which looks kind of funny. Either way, Skimbleshanks, though, it's so many great lyrics.
I know.
Like you got, you could play no pranks with Skimbleshanks. He's a cat that couldn't be ignored. With nothing went wrong on the Northern Mail when Skimbleshanks was aboard.
Absolutely. Organized urgency. He's efficient.
Yes.
Any Dots and
Bustopher Jones, the three of them
articulated
cats of the show.
I can actually see the cat.
Yeah,
that goes with these.
Yes, the Gumby cat and the Bustopher Jones fat cat, and you got Skimbleshanks, who's like the you can see the cat.
None of my cats are any of these cats, which is so interesting.
I got a feeling my cat's a bit of a Grisabella, arcane because she was a rescue cat, and she lived a tough life on the streets before we got her, but now she kind of has become a Jenny Anydots where she lounges around all day.
My cat is not. I don't know what Lulu would be.
Is she a rum-tum tugger?
No. I don't know what. She's not in this. She's not.
Maybe she's in the book and there was just not a song written about her.
She does not appear. She has 5. She has thumbs.
Ooh!
She's a thumbie.
A thumbie cat.
A polydactyl.
Look at that. Oh, be careful. That's dangerous.
She opens my fridge and steals my pasta.
I was about to say, be careful of what she can do.
She's living with my parents right now because the dog Maud would not approve.
Maud, you gotta be nice to the cats.
Look I saved a Yorkshire Terrier from
I know.
the cold the other evening, and I thought that our dog was going to eat it. She was so... I don't know what she'd do with a cat. She'd probably lose her eyes. Yes.
Okay, so now let's head into our top 3 songs that we are most often skipping or we just want to simply remove from this damn show.
Well,
do you got one right off the top, or do you want me?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
I am going to say Growl Tiger.
I have Growl Tigers last in the awful battle of the Peaks and the Pollicles.
Growl Tiger was a bravo cat who traveled on a barge. In fact, he was the roughest cat that ever roamed at large. From Gravesend up to Oxford, he pursued his evil aims, rejoicing in his title of the Terror of the Thames.
Those two tied together for me as...
Well, one took over from the other in the revival.
True.
Like Growl Tiger, since 2016 has been dropped.
Yep, thank God, because it was a little racist with the
has been,
pirate cats.
The Battle of Peaks and Pollicles was moved to Act 2.
They replaced that spot. But it's like, why do we need this song?
We don't.
It's
We
like,
don't.
just
it's about
stay...
dogs.
Yes, and it's like, just stay focused on the cats that are up for contention for the spot in the heaviside layer. As much as it comes from a poem of T.S. Eliot, obviously. So clearly there was a reason why they put it in there. But it's like, we don't need it. This show's long as it is. And just stay focused, people.
I don't think it was part of his cats, though. I think it was a separate poem.
I think Growl Tiger is a poem in there.
Growl Tiger is, but
the Peaks and the Pollicles came from somewhere else. Maybe.
Yeah, because he was writing about pollicle dogs.
Right.
And pollicles are like...
Oh, that's right. That was like the sequel book to this that T.S. Eliot had.
I think it's PKs, like Pekingese dogs.
Yeah.
Pollicles are actually Yorkshire Terriers.
Right, but lyrically it sounds better with the Peaks and the Pollicles. It has a nice rhythm to it.
Well, pollicles and jellicles.
Yes.
Right? Pollicle dogs and jellicle cats.
But the big thing is, you and I both, it's just cut the damn song. Just move it along. Which is why I don't know why it's in the movie. I'm like, if you're going to kill an audience, Growl Tiger is going to be the damn show or moment in the show.
Well, maybe not. Because it's so epic, they might be able to do something very interesting with
That's
it.
True. That's true. I mean, I love Gus the theater cat. So I'm like, you need Gus, but you don't need Growl Tiger.
Asparagus.
He's the old boy.
Yeah, and the fact that it's Ian McKellen just makes me happy. Who has a beautiful pink house on the Thames.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's painted his loft pink.
Love it. Only Ian McKellen would get away with that.
Only Ian McKellen would get away
He also owns the pub that Tolkien used to frequent, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Of course he does.
And now in his Gandalf staff and sword are above the bar, so he goes in there and hangs out.
I love it.
So you now have to go frequent this pub when we go to London at some point.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Because our London audience is massive.
Let's do that tomorrow.
All right, we'll fly.
We're coming for you. We'll do a live show.
There you go.
Set us up in the pub.
Yep. All right. The next song on my list is. Do you have another one, or is that?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your next one?
No, you go first.
Old Deuteronomy.
I believe it is old Deuteronomy.
Well, of all things, can it be really? No, yes, oh, I, oh, my eye. My mind may be wandering, but I confess I believe it is old Deuteronomy.
Oh no, I like Old Deuteronomy.
It's too slow. I find it kind of slow and boring, and I think that stems back from me being a kid. And it's like,
yeah, but you can't look at it through the eyes of a child.
But this is the musical that's perfect for a child that you bring your kids to see. It's just so slow because it's like Deuteronomy's such a great character, and I can't wait to see Judy do this part. But it's just it's kind of meh. It's like
I know, but you need it.
I know you do need it, but it's like
God like
you do, but it's like
yeah,
you
do. No, it's good. I like Old Deuteronomy.
I don't. I distinctly remember fast forwarding through this section every time as a kid on the VHS. I was like, and on to the next part of this, which I think is the Jellicle Ball comes right after Old Deuteronomy. So there you go. There's another one.
No, the awful battle of the peaks and pollicles.
Oh God. So I sat through that.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then you made it to the Jellicle
So
Ball.
maybe that's why I don't like both of these songs, is that they just kind of kill the end of the first act, where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love his character. One. Okay, what's yours?
Another one. Macavity.
That was close to being on the chopping block too, where I was like, it was either that one or my third choice. I still like Macavity because you do need a song about the villain. You need something that makes him.
All cats are complex, and I just think that it's very problematic. I find the casting of the movie incredibly
with Idris Elba
problematic. That. They're fighting the text. The Macavity specifically says he's a ginger cat.
Yes.
He does. There's nothing ginger about him.
No.
And Macavity, like in its name, is a Scottish cat. So why you cast an African? Well, he's
Winston would have been a better Macavity.
I just don't know. I just think there's something very
off.
I don't think it's right. I don't think that the mystery cat should automatically be an African American or an African British person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that it's problematic. I think it's like you have your three main characters that have, you know, Grisabella, who is called a tramp and someone who sleeps around, also cast with an African American. And you have
Jason Derulo,
the over sexualized Rum Tum Tugger. As like, I think there's something problematic.
Who cast this damn movie?
And I get it. They're all incredibly talented, but I don't know. It's for me. It's, and I've watched the trailers with Idris Elba, and there's a pervasive evilness, and
he plays villains really well.
But he's better than that.
It's true.
Like if you watch him on The Wire, he is cast as one of the drug overlords, but he's so complex, and the reasons why he is doing what he is doing
makes sense.
He's genius. We side with him.
Oh, that's kind of scary.
No, it's brilliant. It's absolutely genius writing.
Okay.
And his journey throughout that TV series was remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And then this just seems, again, this is the problem with this version.
Mm-hmm.
It's very general. There is nothing specific about it. It's like, here are the cats. Here are the types. That we're playing. And, we're going to cast, I don't know. I find it very problematic. And in the original, I find Macavity, the original makeup of Macavity, also problematic. Yeah,
there's something really off about that makeup. It's almost blackface.
That's right. And
basically what they've done.
It's like why he's described as a ginger cat. Like I'll find the
okay. I mean, like the only thing I say about the song is you need the song to set up the villain of the show, because unless you have that song, there's no villain, and you do need a villain of the story.
I don't know if you do need a villain. I don't know why you need a villain.
Well, you need something that they're working against that kind of, or else the show's over in one act. The whole point of Macavity is he takes away Deuteronomy. and they have to get him back somehow, which is where you get
McCavity's a ginger cat. He's very tall and thin.
okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
McCavity is a mystery cat. He's called the Hidden Paw, for he's the master criminal who can defy the law. He's the bafflement of Scotland Yard, the flying squad's despair. For when they reach the scene of crime, McCavity is not there. For me, McCavity is like a lanky
Ginger cat?
Scottish guy.
I could see that. Kind of like a more. Well, they describe him as a Moriarty.
He's a Moriarty.
And if you think about that, like that's what you got. Like that's what you got to go with. So.
Or again, Irish, but McCavity is a very Scottish name. So I don't know why.
McCavity.
Right, McCavity. He's very Scottish. And they keep talking about Scotland Yard and you know,
I get it. Like the way they depict McCavity is never good.
I just don't like it. I don't like McCavity. Yeah, who cares? He's a mystery cat. Good,
great,
amazing. Almost, and I know. I also don't like Rum Tum Tugger.
I love Rum Tum Tugger.
I'm not. I'm trying.
Bum, bum.
If you offer me pheasant, I'd rather have grouse. If you put me in a house, I would much prefer a flat. If you put me in a flat, then I'd rather have a house. If you set me on a mouse, then I only want a rat. If you set me on a rat, then I'd rather chase a mouse.
I know, but I'm kind of like, okay, why do we have an Elvis in the show? We don't need that.
Because it was the 80s, man.
I know.
It was the 80s, and like I love the fact in the new version they still kept his rough like coat thing at the top with Jason Derulo. They still kept that costume design of him having that big lion mane ruff for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a cool cat. Like it's just, you know.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. Apparently, in the most recent revival for a while, that they tried making Rum Tum Tugger's song into a rap to try and make it more modern, and that didn't fly with audiences. So they went back to the OG version.
Yeah, because why? Why?
Because apparently Lori Webber thought it'd be a good idea to modernize that song, making it into a rap song. Which I'm like, no. Just stick with the song that as it was. It's still a fun...
He's a bit of a diva.
He absolutely is. He's a diva cat. His whole thing is, I want to go in, I want to be out. I want fish. No, I want paste. You
give me a pheasant, I'll have a grass.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
thanks.
Well, he's the cat you get frustrated with because it's like, I just fed you. What do you want from me?
That's my cat.
Yeah. Okay, so your cat is a Rum Tum Tugger.
Oh, okay. You don't. It's the same with the dog, though.
That's true.
Like, here is this elaborate, very expensive,
dog
beautiful,
dish.
Dehydrated, now wet food for you that I bought and spent a lot of money on. You'd rather have...
Table scraps.
Well, no, she would rather eat her basket of wet naps. Like, the dog won't eat anything. And so with the cat. Like, the cat will be like, I don't want my kibble. I will open your fridge with my paws and take what I want. Thank
See,
you
your cat
much.
is a Rum Tum Tugger. There we go.
I guess so. I guess she's a bit of a Rum Tum Tugger. Yeah.
That song is just so funny, especially right after Jenny Any Dots. And you see all the old cats reacting to this sexual, hip-moving cat.
I think it'd be kind of funny if he was like an older cat too.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see these. Like, and the McCavity for me should be like a scrawny,
almost like a
lanky-
Richard III type cat.
He's a total Richard III.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly who he is. Or Moriarty.
Yeah.
Like anything, like
Lanky
Idris
and-
Elba, he's too sexy. He's not sex. I would like to see this cat not be sexy. I'd like to see him Weasley.
Yes.
Like a weasel.
No, who'd have been great is Tom Hiddleston. Like
You know
Loki
who else
from...
would have been great?
Who?
David Tennant.
Actually, yes, I could see that.
David Tennant and he's Scottish.
Yeah.
Just throw him in a red wig. I'd love to see David Tennant
Play McCavity.
because then I would like the song. I don't like it this way.
Also, you probably won't like the song movie because I think that's Taylor Swift's big song.
Which one?
Macavity.
Look it. I like Taylor Swift.
Just not a musical.
She's not a musical theater person. And why can't we just
Cast theater people?
Why can't we cast theater people?
That's a
We're
good question.
so getting into this.
Skimble Shanks is
Merrily, we
a
roll
theater
along.
people.
Well, and it's the best number in the whole
Mhm,
show.
mhm.
So good.
Yeah.
But like Ian McKellen and
Judi
Judi
Dench.
Dench and Ray Winston are all theater
People who can do it.
people who transitioned into film.
hmm
Taylor Swift is not. Rebel Wilson is not. Jason Derulo is not. Idris Elba. I'll take Idris Elba, just not in that role.
Any other role.
And no, not any other.
He would have
role.
been a great Monkstrap.
I would have liked to have seen him play Growl Tiger. I think that would have been great. But
Yeah, but then was it
whatever.
now you have him as like the evil pirate.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's not much else. But you can complicate. You can complicate Growl Tiger. Right?
If you include it in the damn show, which I would not. Just cut that damn song, please.
Yeah.
Either way.
Okay,
All right.
those are our songs.
I have one more.
Oh, you do?
I do.
What is
The
that?
addressing of cats at the end of the show.
You've heard of several kinds of cat, and my opinion now is that you should need no interpreter to understand our character.
Oh, no, you have to keep the addressing of cats.
The show's big moment ends with Grisabella going up to the heaviside lair. And then you have Deuteronomy like rehashing all about cats. And it's like, no, the big moment of the show ended with Grisabella. Like, show done, lights out, she's up, she's done, show's over.
No.
You don't need this song, just cut it.
Oh, no, you have to have the addressing of cats.
No!
Come on.
Just end it with Grisabella, because that's your plot of the show. After she leaves, it's like, why are we still here?
And I understand that. However, we're all like, oh, this is great. And then it's like the epilogue.
I guess.
It's an epilogue. It's a true epilogue.
But do we need the epilogue?
Yes. It's great. So first your memory I'll jog and say a cat is not a dog. Like, come on. It's great.
It's like, come on, people, wrap the damn show up. We're done. We got to the heaviside lair. We're
Now,
over.
Listen to this. Before a cat will condescend to treat you as a trusted friend, some little token of esteem is needed, like a dish of cream. It's.
I mean, they're great lyrics. They're great.
So
They're great.
good.
They're great. Those are T.S. Eliot lyrics for sure.
It's Puck's final. It's.
I guess.
If these shadows have offended,
I guess.
things but this and all is mended.
I guess.
It's the epilogue.
All
Think
right.
of it as the epilogue, and you'll be fine. She has gone up, and now here is my final piece as King Cat.
I guess so. Or I guess now Queen Cat. As Judi Dench will be the one singing this.
Gender neutral cat. They're cats. They're cats.
Cats have gender.
Yes, I know, but maybe we shouldn't even give them a gender. It's more interesting.
All right.
We're all more interesting.
Here we go, Autumn.
Fluid beings.
The final moment of the podcast.
This very long podcast.
Actually, yeah. This podcast is a bit of a longer one.
But that's
Actually, that's just
good.
not too bad. We're only an hour and a half, so we're
That's
actually
good.
doing okay.
Should we do it?
Yes. Should this be revived? Yes or no? I
Yes.
think. Nah.
Mac, come on.
See, this is my thing. I go. It's a benchmark in musicals, so it is. So it's something where like any musical person needs to either watch the stage version or watch a film version of it.
No, just
But
the
it's
stage
like, do we
version.
need to keep reviving this? Because I mean, like as Lindsay said, if you're looking for a new version of Cats, you won't find it. It's like this
There's
is
nothing wrong with the old version, so
which
why
is
don't
great, but we don't need to revive it again and again and again. It's one of those things where it's like we've done it. The dances aren't going to change. Like
They
the
shouldn't.
costumes are going to stay the same. There's nothing like there's not much you really can like dig into characters to reevaluate. It's like okay, we're
That's
here,
like
we're watching it
saying that
again.
We should just throw out T.S. Eliot's book of poems.
No, I would say read the poems just like you're going to read Harry Potter to your kids. Like they're great pieces of work, but that doesn't mean that it needs to be revived again. I think we
But
got
why not share it? Like
We have a
This
film
is-
version from 1998 that is a film stage version of this
Mhm.
with Elaine Page. Like, you
Yeah, but-
can't beat that.
But people want to see it, and it's accessible for kids.
I
So why
guess.
not introduce kids into the musical theater
Without-
repertoire
Without Disney?
without Disney? What a godsend! Something without Disney. I mean, I love Disney. Don't get me wrong.
We're going to
Mary
get to
Keenan would kill me.
Yeah.
A, if I don't mention her name when I say the word Disney. But B, if I am derogatory towards Disney. I love Disney. Disney's amazing, but it's nice to have options.
It is, but I just go,
Options.
if I'm a producer, if I want to make money for something, I'll put on Cats.
Well, then that's fine.
But as
Make
a
money.
as a show where I'm like, does it need to be revived again? Not necessarily.
I don't know if any of these need to be redone again.
I think there's a few that can always generate new conversation and new.
I think
Thoughts
this has
and
a
new-
lot to say. I think this
About
has a
what?
lot to say. I think it has a lot to say about who. I don't know. I think it. I'm trying to articulate my thought, everybody. I think it has a. I think it's great to talk about animals in human form and to give them
A voice.
a voice. That's one, because it's fun and that's great for kids to access.
Absolutely.
Number two, I think it's so interesting that his run of musicals like Joseph, Jesus Christ Superstar,
Evita.
no, I'm going to skip over Evita for a second because it really doesn't do this, but into Cats, where it really is about traveling on beyond.
Oh, I see what you mean.
There's religious connotations
Yes.
to this musical. So, from a spiritual point of view, I think it's an interesting conversation.
That's true.
And who is deserving,
Yeah.
and how do you get to the path of righteousness?
Yes.
I think it's fascinating, and I
All right.
just think there's something
There.
beautifully simple about taking a children's book, setting it to music, and then bringing it back time and time again. It's a little bit like Mary Poppins
I
or
guess so.
Sound of Music. Like,
True.
can you really do anything
With Sound of
other?
Music. Not really.
I mean,
It's-
sure, you could.
I love to see him Sound of Music done from the Baroness's perspective.
Well,
That'd be what
get
I want.
on it, Matt.
All right,
Come
I'll work on that. Either way, I think this show is fantastic,
It is fantastic.
but I'm not fully sold on if it needs to be revived again. But Autumn, you have
I
put
am
some.
sold on the fact that it should always be revived. It's a great musical, and I think it's classic
Theater.
musical theater repertoire.
Mhm.
That if you like, and there's something uplifting about it.
Mhm.
Literally, when she goes, and it's
up to the
cheeky.
heaviside layer.
It's cheeky, and it's got a lot of heart. Like there's a lot of goodness in this musical.
You know what? Fair enough.
Okay.
All right.
I've changed his mind.
Somewhat. I'm not fully conceding. Somewhat. Either way, that is kind of it for this.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Autumn. We do have something from Brody, our wonderful theme music composer. He has a little announcement he wants us to make for him. So let me pull up his message he sent me. The wonderful Brody Weld.
Is it about his rap music?
It is actually.
How exciting.
It is. Where did I put that note here, Brody? Where are you? Okay, so Brody has actually been working on a new album.
Oh, amazing.
Yes. It is a collaborative EP between himself and a producer who goes by Wavy Matt.
Oh.
And the project is called Wavy Flow, and it will be released in early 2020. And his first album just hit 1K on Spotify.
Way to
To
go,
Brody. Well done to you. He and I will be meeting up during our season's hiatus to compose a new theme song, because every season we'll shake it up a little bit, pulling from other overtures.
Yeah, why not?
Because the first one's very kind of Gilbert and Sullivan meets Phantom. The next one, who knows? Maybe we'll get some trumpets and some brass with some Annie. Who knows? Brody and I will have some fun on that. And Brody does want to be a guest, so he and I will find an episode. We may have to go to Hamilton for that episode because of him and his baby, so you and I may have to do some pilgrimage out that way.
Alexander Hamilton.
No, not that.
Not that one?
No.
Oh, well.
But either way, Brody's doing fantastically. Find him on Spotify as Father Floses.
Floses.
And he is wonderful. Autumn, where can they find you?
Oh, all the places. I am Autumn DM Smith, Instagram and Facebook, and my company is littlewoodsmith.com. You can also go to Littlewood Smith on Facebook and Instagram.
Love it. And you can find me on all social media platforms at Mackenzie Horn. Just look for the profile picture with the ginger hair. Thank you for everybody who has been listening. We are currently over 600 total listens. Our first 2 episodes are over 100 listens each.
Love it.
And we are, Autumn, we are worldwide. We are all over the place. Let me pull up our map.
Friends, please feel free to
message
us.
Yes, actually, speaking of messages, there was a great message that was sent to our Facebook as a correction from our first episode. Hold on, let me pull it up here because it does tie in with Lloyd Webber, funny enough.
How exciting.
Yes, so let me see. Where is that little...
Shout out to that person.
Hold on. Let me find the message here now. We'll read it because he pointed out something that we did. Oh, here we go. So it's Griffin Jenkins.
Oh.
And he wrote to us saying, enjoying the show, guys. Just one correction. In the West Side Story episode, so sorry, not the first episode, second episode, you guys said Lloyd Webber does his own orchestrations, and that isn't correct. His longtime orchestrator is David Cullen. And it's kind of understood that often Webber will give him just a melody and some chords, and Cullen will eventually add a lot of the irregular time signatures Webber is known for, and is generally credited as creating the sound we all associate with him. So,
wow.
Griffin Jenkins, thank you for that.
Yes,
that was
thank you, Griffin.
marvelous. We do appreciate any type of time we do make a little flub. Call us on it. We'll happily correct it.
Absolutely.
Because you know what? We're all human and we're all just doing our thing here. So we'll happily do that. Autumn, do you want to know where some people are listening from?
You have shared this with me, but
I have.
find it fascinating.
So we are worldwide. In Canada, some of our biggest spots are in Ontario, obviously, including places like Bracebridge, Mississauga, Barry's Bay, London, Cornwall, Hamilton, and then elsewhere.
Shout out to Bracebridge, Ontario.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you all for that. And then in the States, we're in quite a few places now. We are in Kentucky. We are in... went to the UK there for a sec. We are in New York, California, Virginia, Washington, Maryland, Colorado, Vermont, New Jersey, Illinois. We are everywhere. People in Florida, let's go. We got to get on this map. And then in the UK, England, you are like leading the pack here. Like you are like right in number 2, right behind Ontario for listens. And
great.
In England, we are in Birmingham, London, Prescott, Kensington, Romford, Pickering, Watford, Clapham, and then we're in Wales, Cardiff, Trellich, Meredith, Titterfield. Scotland, we're in Edinburgh and Wishaw. Like, we are going a place up. And then we're in the Philippines, Australia, Germany, Hong Kong. Like, guys, we love you. So
we do. And I have to sit here and kind of awesome wonder that
our little podcast,
our little voices are reaching you across the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's very humbling.
Yes.
So thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
And please drop us a line.
Yeah.
And this is probably our last episode before the holidays.
Yeah, this episode will come out right before the holidays. And then next week, right after the holidays, we'll have our preview for the next episode. So this is our last episode of 2019, full episode. And we are just so thankful for all of you for making this little dream of ours a reality.
A huge reality. And have a blessed holiday.
Yes. Whether you're with friends or family or just chilling out all by yourself, because you know what? Eating a turkey on your own is just as good as eating it with everybody else.
It's turkey.
Yeah.
Gobble, gobble time.
Gobble, gobble. Let us know if you're a cat or a dog person, if you're going to see the Cats movie over the holidays. Send us your review. We will happily talk about some of the
Oh
feedback.
yeah, maybe we'll do a special feedback episode.
Yes, absolutely. But either way, thank you so much for listening. We love you all. Have a happy holiday, and we will see you with a next full episode in 2020.
Woohoo!
Woot woot, new decade, here we come. Talk to you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.